Caplan, and I still work for Purdue University. And we are talking about math on the farm. And math is incredibly important, not only for farmers, but for all people. But if you cannot do math, you really can't be a farmer, because it's that important. Now, I know that when you're doing math homework or math test, your teacher is always reminding you to label your answers. Is that right? Your math teacher is always telling you to label your answers. Well, you are labeling units of measurement. So the answer might be, how many cupcakes did you find? So your unit of measurement is cupcakes. Or it may be, how many dozen eggs did you find? But that's your unit of measurement. Well, we use units of measurement every day. If I go to the grocery store to buy milk, what's the unit of measurement for milk? Gallons, very good. Now if I'm going to go buy potatoes, do I measure potatoes by the gallon? Do I? How do I measure potatoes? By the pounds, very good. Well, farmers use different units because they're measuring different things and they're measuring so much of it. If a farmer's measuring their grain, how much corn, how much beans, how much wheat, they're measuring it by the bushel. And this is a bushel basket. If this was filled with corn, this would weigh over 54 pounds. So that's a lot of corn in this one bushel. So that's a bushel, that's a unit the farmer uses. Now the farmer also needs to know how much land they're farming. What's the unit of measurement for land? Acres, very good. Now, I want you to look at this building. Look at how wide, look at how long. This building sits on 1 acre. This building sits on 1 acre. A football field sits on 1 acre. So when you hear farmers say, I got 1,000 acres, that farmer is telling you they've got enough land for 1,000 of these buildings or 1,000 football fields. So remember the size of that when you hear the unit of measurement, acre. Now, here in Vanderburgh County, if a farmer does everything right, that farmer can produce 170 bushels of corn on 1 acre. That's a lot of pounds indeed. It's 54 pounds in each one of these little bushels. And there's 170 of them. And you know what? That number is so important, I'm going to write it down so I don't forget it. So a farmer is growing 170 bushels per acre. You notice I labeled that. Yes, I labeled it. Now, the farmer has that big old pile of corn. What's he going to do with it? Is he going to eat it? What's he going to do with it? He's going to sell it. But before the farmer loads up the truck and goes into town, the farmer needs to know how much money he's going to get paid. And so the farmer can go to the Evansville paper to the money section, and there's a section here with grain prices. And he can look it up here. He can go online, and there's a couple of websites that have this information on how much this bushel of corn is going to cost. And today, this farmer could sell this one bushel for $3.75. I'm going to write that down because that's important. $3.75 per bushel. But he's not going to sell one bushel. He's going to sell that great big pile of corn, right? So what kind of math do I do to find out how much he gets paid for all 170 bushels? Everybody, what math do I do? Multiplication. I multiply. And when I multiply 170 bushels per acre times 375 a bushel, I come up with $637.50 per acre. So for every acre of corn, that farmer's going to get cash money of $637.50. $637. Now remember, that farmer doesn't have 1 acre. That farmer might have 1,000 acres or 3,000 acres. So I would multiply that times 1,000, and that's $637,000. That's over $500,000. Woo! Is that a lot of money?
Yes.
Is the farmer rich?
Yes.
No.
What?
Well, because the farmer is just like everybody else. Farmer has bills to pay. It costs money to grow corn. He's got to buy seed. He's got to buy fertilizer to make the plants grow. He needs chemicals to kill the weeds and the bad bugs. He needs fuel for that fancy tractor you looked at earlier. If you look at all the bills the farmer has over the year, for every acre, that farmer has bills that add up to $621.14. That's a lot of bills. I'm going to write that down. So $621.14, that's dollars per acre. Now, boys and girls, we know our income, that's how much we're being paid. We know our expenses, that's our bills. What math do I do to find out the profit, the amount of money the farmer gets to take home? Subtraction, very good. And if I subtract these two, I find out that that farmer is going to take home as profit $16.36 per acre. Is that a lot of money?
No.
No, think about it. You work on this acre all summer long. You plant the corn, you weed it, you water it, you spray it, and at the end of the year, you make just enough money to buy 1 pizza. Now, is that something you can live with? Yeah. Now, yes, the farmer does have 1,000 acres, but if you multiply $16 times 1,000 acres, that's $16,000. That's not a lot of money, because that's what the farmer has to buy groceries for his family, clothes for the kids, maybe make the car payment. How does anybody stay alive on that little? What?
Well, for like $3.75 a bushel, can you just raise it?
That's a good question. She asked me, can I raise this $3.75? And the answer is no. Not the way the grain economics are set up. The bankers and the big business managers, they're the ones who set the price, not the poor farmer.
Or like, could you like try to like save money for all those?
Well, sometimes farmers do save money for bad years. But remember, this is a good year, 170 bushels. If we had a bad year, let's say we had a year where we had too much rain or too little rain, or it was too hot or too cold, instead of growing 170 bushels, that poor farmer may only have 100 bushels, or even less. So now the farmer isn't making money, he's losing money for every acre, because his bills stay the same. So this is the problem a lot of farmers are facing now. It's called the farm crisis. Some farmers have to get a second job, so they're farmers all day long, and then at night they have to work in a factory. Or maybe the farmer's wife, instead of staying home with the family, she has to go out and get a job, maybe as a banker or a teacher or a bus driver. And in really bad situations, the farmer has to sell the farm. He's not a farmer anymore. Not enough. But the point is that if the farmer sells his farmland, where are we going to get our food? It doesn't just magically appear on the grocery store. Where? Well, who's going to grow it? The farmers are gone. Yes? Well, the food stamps buy food. But if nobody's growing the food, what are the food stamps going to be used for?
Well, like other farmers?
Yeah, but all the farmers are facing this.
Well, then...
See, what...
See?
You are, what you're saying is we are having a farm depression. It's actually the farm crisis. But it's not all bad. It's not all bad because, well, you gotta hear me out. I work for Purdue University, and we have been working with farmers for over 100 years. to help them be better farmers, to not waste resources, to be more efficient. And this chart here kind of shows some of what we've been able to help the farmers with. Way, way back in 1940, one farmer fed how many people? 19 people. It took one farmer to feed 19 people. But today, thanks to all the research, and we're getting better types of corn, and we're getting better machinery, and we're getting better chemicals, and we're using them better. Today, one farmer feeds how many people? 155. Now, what does that mean to you? Well, it means a couple things. First off, your food doesn't cost as much because we don't need to have as many farmers. So your food costs less, and that means your mom and dad have money for you to buy clothing or go to the movies or what have you. But another thing it means is that you don't have to be farmers yourselves. See, back in pioneer days in the 1800s, 90 out of 100 people were farmers. This room here earlier had over 100 people in it, and 90 of those people would have been farmers. And so the other 10 would have been teachers or bankers or shopkeepers. But today, this is flipped. Today, only 2 people out of 100 have to be farmers to feed us. So that means the other 98 of you can be teachers and scientists and even rock stars even. Supreme Court justices and lawyers. That's right. You could be anything you want to be. You don't have to be on the farm because we're not going to starve to death if you're not. So that's the benefit of the research at Purdue and other universities. So, boys and girls, I hope you learned a little something about math and the importance for farmers. So I want to thank you very much. I hope you have a wonderful spring. Thank you very much.
Fourth grade. Thank you.
All right.